Hey everybody, welcome to Q Sports News. I'm Adam King, and boy oh boy. Okay. All right, guys, we have a lot this week. It turns out there's so much happening in the pool world right now that it's impossible to cover it in any kind of time frame that makes sense. We'll start with the European Open that just happened in Fulda, Germany, August 8th through the 13th. This had a really cool story. David Alcaide from Spain comes out the victor. For those of you that don't know, David Alcaide was like, I don't even know where he was at in the rankings, honestly, because the rankings have already changed and it's hard to go back and look at him, but he was way down the rankings. He had a bad last season. 2022 was not good to him. He's won 2 Masters titles before, so he's proven that he can play for sure, but he was not a guy that anybody was thinking, probably including himself, to win this title. And yet, he comes through one of the toughest fields ever assembled. Every Matchroom event now, by the way, all the 256-man field events are the toughest fields that have ever been assembled in the world. You can argue, obviously, that not all the Asian players show up, which is a good point, because the best players on earth, if you had to just judge it by percentage, the Asian players, whether you're talking Filipino, Taiwanese, mainland China, those are the best players in the world, with, of course, a few key Europeans, obviously being players. Federer Gorst, whether or not you want to include him in the European class, I kind of do, despite, however you want to feel about Russia. Joshua Filler, obviously. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, #1 in the world by a mile. Obviously, Shane Van Boening from the United States, still a lot of people think, and they might be right, is the best player on earth. All of these guys were in the top 6 of this tournament, the top 8, I should say. They made the quarterfinals. And who comes out the winner? David Alcaide. Fantastic. Let's get into it. There was a classic match that happened. You guys should all watch it. It is the example of modern professional pool and where it's going. Federer Gorst, Joshua Filler, quarterfinals. It goes hill. It's epic. It has everything you need to do in the modern game. They broke the balls the modern way. The jump shots are incredible. You should watch it just for Federer Gorst jump shots. It's insane. Here, we'll play some right here.
Look how close he is to these balls here, Michael, and he's going to attempt to get over this.
This match goes back and forth, and it shows everything that you need to do. These guys are young. They're both in their early 20s. They're going to have an intense rivalry unless one of them drops off the game for whatever reason, which I don't see happening. It's great for the game, and it's great for the fans. Also, you had Anton Raga. Finally, and I'm not sure if it was because of COVID or whatever reason he hasn't come out of the Philippines yet. I reckon it was because of COVID and maybe getting visas or whatever. Everyone's been hearing about Anton Raga in the Philippines for a long time. Their greatest money player. Every 10 to 15 years, out of that cauldron in the Philippines, you get, obviously, an Efren Reyes, greatest player of all time. I still think so. You get a Bustamante. You get a Dennis Orcolo. You get a Beato. And now, I think, time will tell, you're getting an Anton Raga, and he proved it this tournament. Some ice cold stuff. We'll talk about it later. The guy's seriously good. He doesn't have a lot of time in big events like Matchroom style events, and he looked nervous, but he played amazing. And once again, I'm going to put together a highlight reel for this. It's fantastic stuff. Shane Van Boening not having the season he wanted to have, but still epic. I mean, it's SVB. The guy's still ice cold. He's playing amazing. He's making the top 10 all the time still and threatening to win all the big events. And I don't think Shane Van Boening's anywhere near done. He turned 40 this year, and he looks fantastic. He played in the quarterfinals. Mario He, the Panda, man, by the way, the Panda's mix just landed on Spotify for Matchroom. Go check that out. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz's mix is there too. I've been practicing to him all week. That's an aside. Check those out. But Mario He, I think everybody wants this guy to win. He goes hill with Shane Van Boening. Shane Van Boening gets through him in the quarters. But for Mario He, this is again for him. This dude is on repeat. He is top 10, top 6, 5 again and again and again and again. I'm losing track of how many hill losses Mario He has. It's almost impressive. I feel bad for the guy. What I don't feel bad about though is he's been in the top 5 now so many times, top 5, top 16, that he is number 5 right now in the Mosconi Cup point rankings. Everyone's been waiting on him to get in the Mosconi Cup. Eklund Kachi, if you're looking at the rankings and thinking he's not top 5, Eklund Kachi has broken his arm badly. And it doesn't look like Kachi's going to be back for the Mosconi Cup. I don't think so. He multiple fractures in that left arm of his. If you follow him on Instagram, you're seeing him. He's playing one-handed and he's having a good time of it. But could he make the Mosconi Cup in December? Oh, I mean, maybe. Time will tell. But if he doesn't make it, it looks like Mario He might finally get his Mosconi Cup position, and we'll all look forward to that. I think he deserves it, and I think he'd be a big fan favorite. So anyhow, though, Shane Van Boening overcoming Mario He, hill, once again. He regulated to 5th, 6th position. Great tournament, but not the tournament that he wanted. Wojciech, I'm just going to it's Polish. You guys are going to have to give me a break on that. This guy won the World 10-Ball Championship. Fantastic guy. He has a wonderful piece, actually, that the Polish News did on him. That you should look that up on YouTube. He speaks eloquently about the game. Fantastic. I became a big fan of his. He played Anton Raga on the quarters and played well, led the match at times, but Raga really showed he's made of stern stuff. A fantastic match, and he keeps proving it. In the semifinals, Raga goes on to play Filler in what turns out to be, another epic match. Raga, you got to think, Joshua Filler is, arguably the best 9-ball player in the world. Sometimes he is the best 9-ball player in the world, I think, hands down. And Raga just beats him in a big moment. Just takes him down. It was impressive. Very impressive by Anton Raga. And the story, though, of the whole tournament, as I alluded to earlier, though, is David Alcady. David Alcady, 44 years old, never won a full 256-man major. And what I can remember, I looked it up earlier today, not even close, really. Now, he's won a bunch of big, mid-sized titles. And a guy like that's always going to be crazy dangerous. But he's never won something like this. And David Alcady beats Shane Van Boening in the semis 11-7. Fantastic match. Shane made some mistakes, sure. But Alcady showed that solid tactical play, as the pockets have gotten tighter and tighter for Matchroom, which I think everyone in the world at this point is seeing that this makes for better competition. But the guys that have high-end tactical play, like David, are starting to rise to the top. What happened last final in Spain? You had Dang and you had Bijsterbosch. Now, maybe not brilliant tacticians, but two guys that you didn't expect to be in the final. And I think the tighter pockets had a lot to do with that. You're going to see smarter players with better strokes, better fundamentals overall, are going to rise to the top of these events. And it looks more professional, and I think it is more professional. But David Alcady gets through Shane Van Boening relatively easily. Very unexpected, to make the final. A quarterfinal match that I haven't spoken of yet, that kind of, it was a hard match to watch, really. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz plays his pool brother, David Alcady. These guys, if you know anything about the game, they're both from Malaga, Spain. They travel everywhere together. Brothers in arms. Actually, a personal story very quickly. I was at the 2021 U.S. Open. I'm sitting at a cafe with them, and a guy came by with like an accordion and knew it was singing a Spanish song. And David and Ruiz got up together and finished the song in the middle of the cafe. It was glorious. Yeah. So these guys are wonderful friends. And they had to play each other in a huge moment. The money means a lot to both of them, and they didn't want that to happen. But David Alcade gets out to a 7-1 lead, plays great. Ruiz Hart doesn't really look in the match, but then Alcade misses a couple balls, and you get to see the world number one go to work. You get to see the world number one go to work. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz is a bad man, and this match goes from 7-1 ahead to hill real quick, like out of nowhere. Like, I had to watch it a couple times to realize, like, wow, how did Francisco Sanchez Ruiz get back in this match? And man, he just didn't miss much towards the end, and really FSR should have won the match. David Alcade gets a 2-9 combination at the end that on another day he doesn't get that shot, but I felt bad for him. They hugged it out at the end. But let's talk about this final. This final is kind of sick. All the Matchroom finals of these big 256-man field events are awesome. This one's no different. It goes hill, which is becoming a theme with Matchroom finals. The only way you can make the final is to be in stroke, to be ready to play under the huge pressure. And everyone that makes these finals are going hard in the paint, man. It's awesome. Like, you're seeing amazing play from these exhausted guys. They've been playing hardcore all week, and they're showing up when it matters. David Alcade, this is his best match. He plays fantastic. And Raga, oh boy. Like, I don't want to overshadow David Alcade because he just did something that he's wanted to do his entire life. It's the biggest win of his life. It's way bigger than those 2 Masters wins, in my opinion. Because the Masters, if you don't know, it's just the top 16 guys in the world. The races are short. It's made for TV. It's pressure-packed, hard to win, for sure. Masters is a wonderful title, and David won it twice. Fantastic. But this was bigger. It felt bigger. It looked bigger. It was a cool moment for him. But Anton Raga absolutely showed that he is the real deal, man. I mean, whoop! We're going to play right here. This is a 5-ball that he shoots. Ice cold hill. That's a beautiful shot. I go ahead and shoot that for all the money, all day. Amazing. Again and again and again. Anton Raga coming with the heat.
Oh, that is just a delightful shot from Anton Raga. Look at that one. Kick and stick.
And David just never going away. David broke well. He made great decisions the whole match. But at the end, the one everyone's talking about, you've already seen a lot of it online, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit because nobody's really given an in-depth opinion of it that actually knows what they're talking about. And I'll say that I know what I'm talking about. You can choose to decide or not if I'm right. Did Anton Raga shoot the right shot hill? He rolls in that icy 5-ball. That's one of the better shots under pressure I've seen in a minute. And then he gets this 6-7 carom shot into the side pocket. Keep in mind, for all you people that think that he played this so sloppily or that he should have played safe. And by the way, I also thought, witnessing it the first time, because it happened so quickly, I was like, ooh, I told some friends that I was on a group chat with, I was like, I think he should have played safe. I think the safe wins the event. As soon as I rewound it, as soon as I found the clip again, yeah, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. He shot the right shot. The safety was not easy. It looked easier when I first saw it. Did he shoot it too fast? Was his adrenaline through the roof? Yes. But you can see here, again, he misses it just a little thin. He's trying to play the 7 and get some shape on the 7, which he does, but he misses the 6 and leaves David with the easiest 4 balls to win a big event that you could ever want in your life. If David would have missed there, he probably would have started crying. It was absolutely, when I saw the balls land after Raga missed, I was like, oh, well, this is the best opportunity to win a big event I've ever seen in my life. Besides just a straight-in combination shot, these 4 balls, you're going to make these balls unless you just crumble. And David stayed poised. He never jumped out of his chair. He never ran around. He showed composure, and he closed out the biggest one of his life. And I was super proud of him. Love this guy. Wonderful for the sport. just a great story. It shows if you're solid, and I mean genuinely solid all around, you can get these big wins. You can get these major wins. And David did it. Fantastic showing. And I hope, because David has a small win just before this, so he was in stroke coming into this tournament. I hope that David can have a little, I won't even call it a resurgence. I hope he can find a vein of form that he's never found before and maybe get a couple of these events. He's already going to be in the Mosconi Cup. So again, Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz and David Alcade, who make a disturbingly good Scotch doubles pairing for the Mosconi Cup and dangerous for the Americans, let's be honest. That we don't really want them to be on the team together. They have like good energy times 10. Like they're laughing and joking. You can see the whole team elevate themselves. It'll be tough for us this year, but they're going to be on the Mosconi Cup team together. It's fantastic. I wish David a good run, but one more time for Anton Raga. This guy, man, oh man. We will see him again. He is 25 years old. He has been, he came up obviously in the Philippines. We're all, frankly, the toughest, I think the mentally toughest players and the most artistic players. Look at all the Filipinos. They all have a distinct style. They really show you the art of the game at its highest level. You're going to see Raga again, and I think you're going to see Raga win one or more of these big events, and his goal will be to be number one in the world. And it was just brilliant watching it. If you haven't watched those clips, Matchroom Pool on YouTube, it's all there. Check it out. We're going to show you a lot of it here. Thank you guys for queuing into that, and we're going to move on now. I want to go to the 9-ball rankings. Okay, quickly. I wanted to just run over these new, revised after the European Open Matchroom rankings. Things are getting interesting. This is the second, this is the second-ish season that Matchroom's been using this system. Every year, it seems the ranking system has been modified a little bit. They keep making it better and better. I'm a huge fan of Matchroom and what they're doing. But now that we've had enough tournaments, you're starting to see the rankings kind of shake out. And I just wanted to highlight a few things. Firstly, Francisco Sanchez-Ruiz, after his 2022, I'm going to make a whole episode about FSR because his 2022 season is epic. It's epic. It's epic. He wins the US Open. He wins the world title. He wins like 3 other majors and finishes high all over the place. It's insane. So he is in the lead currently with $189,877. He's crushing. He's crushing it. Shane Van Boening is sitting at $125K, and he's in second place by a bit. He doesn't really have, he'd have to win a major, and Francisco would have to not do well for Shane to take over the number 1 spot. Anyhow, Joshua Filler in the top 5, as you would expect, amazing seasons. Albin Ocean, one of the most consistent players on earth. But let's get Mario He right here in number 5, 84,000. But more importantly, like I was talking about, Eklund Kachi over here with only 37.5. But he's had a better 1 year than Mario because he won some events. But with Eklund out, I think Mario can make the Mosconi Cup. Definitely rooting for him there. That would bring a really cool dynamic to the team. Jason Shaw, kind of a terrible year. Well, terrible is the wrong word, but for Jason Shaw, not a beautiful year for him, but his last year was insanity. I don't have it right in front of me, but he won he won like 80K in the last 2 months of last year. Absolutely bananas. So don't count Jason out. I think Jason just sort of took this year with the family. Eklund Kachi sitting here in 7th place. Oh man, Eklund Kachi, one of my favorite players in the world. I'm always talking about it. The guy broke his arm in a couple places in an off-roading accident. We've already talked about it a little bit. It looks like he's going to miss the Mosconi Cup in December, like I said earlier, but still 7th place on the rankings. And honestly, Eklund Kachi shooting straight up to number 1, 2, 3. In his own words, he'll be there. As soon as he gets healthy, everybody watch out. Victor Zielinski, wonderful. This kid's shooting up the rankings. Love him. Plays fast, plays loose. Everybody should be a little frightened. This kid's coming up. Ko Ping Chung. This guy's winning everything. I'm shocked he's only in 9th place. He just won the Sharks tournament, by the way. We'll talk about Sharks right after this. They're doing great things in the Philippines, adding gambling into the pool scene. in a more legitimate way. Ko Ping Chung, though, Ko Ping Yi is his bigger brother, was talking years ago. He said, my younger brother plays better than I do. And it seems so unbelievable because this is two-time world champion, Masters champ, yada, yada. We're like, you have a younger brother that plays better than you? And now we're absolutely seeing, I think Ko Ping Chung does play better a little bit. His stroke is so smooth, it's creepy. David Alcady moving up to 10th with his big win we just talked about at the European Open. Let's go, David. Fedor Gorst, who was removed from playing Matchroom events because of the WPA and Russia invading Ukraine. Fedor finally gets a chance to play in 2 Matchroom events. That's it, by the way. That's it. Just FYI. 2 majors, and he's already in the top 16. I'm not sure. There's only a teeny little handful of players that could do that. 2 events, and he's in the top 16. All right, creepy, but that's the Russian machine. Oh, I didn't even mention on the European Open end, we have to put this in, Fedor Gorst proving to everyone in the world that he is actually a human being with emotions. Hill against Joshua Filler misses the 9-ball. Misses the 9-ball, doesn't cut enough, hits it high. We'll show right here.
Fedor Gorst trails 8-5. And just when it looked as though he was going to make it 5 in a row to go through.
Amazing. That's out of order, but we're doing this a little bit fast and loose. That nobody in the world thought that Federer wasn't going to win that match, including him. He won't forget that one, and I almost feel bad for everybody. Federer will be back with a vengeance. Anyhow, Fedor Gorst very quickly into the top 16. Max Lechner, super consistent. This is mostly, he's still in 12th place because of last year. Hasn't had his best season this year, but man, Max's stroke is amazing. We're looking for more things from him. Another Austrian with Mario He and Albin Ocean to climb up the rankings. Ko Ping Yi, always a stalwart, top 13. Sky Woodward, we're waiting on Sky to win an event. Come on, Sky. He's been so close this year. 3 separate times, turning stone. He's been in Spain, the UK. You can't keep crawling into the top 3 all the time without winning. Sky's going to win an event soon, I'm sure of it. Alexander Kazakis, love this guy, top 16. Another guy with a great 2022. It's kind of slid in 23. Niels Feyen, everybody's favorite Dutchman, I would say, still hanging into the top 16 at 46 years old, I believe. He's pulling a Ronnie O'Sullivan. He's just never going to stop. Anyway, a lot of guys. Konrad Jurkashin, once again, I apologize for the Polish names. I've got to got to figure out a better way to say these. Konrad sitting right there in 18th. Wojciech Swiszczek, another Pole in 17th. Both of these guys, fantastic, crawling their way in. Everyone's dangerous. I'm not going to go through with the whole top 32 because it takes too much time, but I just wanted to give a little idea of the depth of strength we're seeing. We're not even in to most of the Filipinos, most of the mainland Chinese guys, and most of the Taipei guys. They're not even playing all the Matchroom events. That's sick. That's sick. The Matchroom made a bunch of tournaments in Asia. I don't even want to go into that. There's like 50 billion Matchroom events now, which I think is great. It's great for the sport. I'm full support. But the rankings are about to get bizarre, which is one of the reasons I wanted to look at them real quick right now. You've got a very European-heavy ranking result right now in the top 16. And I predict that in the next 18 months, once this year finishes and we start the next year, and with all the ranking events happening in Asia, we're going to see a big flip-flop of this. And I can't wait for some of the names to come out of Asia that we don't quite know enough about yet and see the kind of difference they're going to make, because the Asian players are difference makers. Okay, next on the docket, the World Professional 9-Ball Pool Corporation. That is a mouthful, by the way, and I hate that they named it that. The World Professional 9-Ball Pool Corporation, the WPNPC. Sure. I tried very hard to find the video with Emily Frazier. She did a whole video on Matchroom Pool speaking on this, which I thought was great video, very professional, presented to the audience well, all this, but it seems that they took it down. I can't find it. Hopefully by the time we publish this, we can find it again, because I wanted to use some clips of this, but I couldn't. So I'm going to keep this short. The WPA, the World Pool Association, is the sanctioning body for a lot of events. Not all the events. It's very confusing. There's been a lot of hate, and I'm talking, hate on the WPA over the last few years about basically not doing enough for the players. They take, by the way, I think it's 3% of the prize pool for these big events to sanction them. So if you want to host the World Pool Championships, which is the one they always hold above everyone's head, at least that's how it feels. See, I'm even getting negative on them. They take a bit of the prize pool away from the players to sanction the event. So it's the official World Championships. There's nothing wrong with this. NFL, you name it, NHL, everybody has a sanctioning body. But the WPA doesn't seem to do anything. I've been playing pool hardcore for 23 years with almost no breaks. I have played in plenty of professional events. I keep up on everything. I'm making a news show about pool, for God's sakes. And I don't know a lot. I don't know what the WPA does. If you talk to 30 professionals, they'll all be like, I don't know. I don't know what the WPA does. I don't particularly believe in them. They don't seem to have a concept. There's no leadership. And Matchroom, in my interpretation, which could be wrong, I've read the official press release several times, and I still don't quite understand exactly what they're doing, but it seems to be that the WPA and the European Pool and Billiard Federation, which is helping / using / coordinating, it's hard to say, funds from the Olympic Committee. So if you're like Niels Feijen is a perfect example. He lives in the Netherlands. The Netherlands has a state-sponsored fund for pool players from the Netherlands. And the European Pool and Billiard Federation, they have to create a plan for this funding, which makes perfect sense. They say, okay, Niels Feijen, you have to play in all 7 or 8 Euro Tour events. You have to play in the World Championships, and you have to play this and this event, to get this, yearly amount of funds. I have no problem with that at all. But apparently, there's some events that Niels can't play. And all these other, like the Polish team, for example, that's another good example. They get sponsored by the state. And so if the WPA doesn't sponsor the event, or not sponsor the event, I should say sanction the event, then there's certain events that these guys can't play, and then yet they all must play these smaller Euro Tour events, which don't pay nearly as well. You can't make a living on the Euro Tour unless you win all of them. And so it's a hassle for the players. That's not the best explanation. I'm trying to keep it high level, but if you ask 10 people, I don't think you'll get 10 different answers. Windows Open with Melina Mike. Go on Melina Mike's page. Him and Mike Panazzo, they have some nice stuff that they said. They interviewed the president of the EPBF. That was very interesting, but still at the end of that interview, you're still kind of like, what? Like, where's this going? It seems like Matchroom just decided to sidestep all this, which is smart. I'm with them. It seems like they were like, we don't need your WPA sanction. When we hold the World Championship, everyone's going to show up. You're more than happy. We're more than happy to have you sanction the event. But if you don't, we have our own roster of players, and we're not going to worry about it. To me, with this corporation that Matchroom just launched, they literally gave them, we're the captain now. And lead, follow, or get out of the way. All right. The last thing I wanted to talk about, well, almost the last thing, is sharks. This is a really interesting concept, and maybe you've already heard a little bit about it, I should say. If not, let's chat. In Manila, actually Quezon City, I'm probably saying that wrong, Quezon City, it's northeast in Manila. It's like a province of Manila. There's this Sharks pool hall that's opened up, but it's more, they call themselves an arena, a pool arena. And they've got a cool concept going on there. If you don't know about Filipino pool, it's all about gambling. If you start playing pool in the Philippines, you're gambling like $1 a game, very cheaply. 50 cents a game, $1 a game by our standards, in America at least. you gamble immediately, which is why these guys come out of there just ice cold. They come out of there so used to playing under pressure, it's bizarre. Sharks decided to professionalize it. It's a great idea, I think. What they did was they created this big arena, and it's very clean, it's very nice, beautiful, and they did some super cool things. They made a piece of the facility they call the Shark Tank, all right? And it's a soundproof room with a pool table, and they have a broadcast-ready setup in there. And the people upstairs can view people playing in the bottom, and they can be as loud as they want. They can go crazy. They can make bets back and forth. They can, you drink whatever they're doing there and go nuts, and the players can't hear them. So it's really cool. You get to create this crazy atmosphere, because if you've ever seen pool, any of these private videos posted from money matches in the Philippines, there are chickens, literally, there are chickens running around the table. There are people, you can't even move around the table. There's people betting and touching the table and touching you and picking the balls up. It's bizarre for the rest of us, but it's how they come up there. The culture is amazing. I had a guy from China explain it to me. This is 10 years ago. And he said, don't think about the Filipino pool players like you think of everyone else. He said, the rest of the pool world, there's a lot of structure. It's very more of a scientific type of play. The Filipinos are artists. He said it's like a bunch of, the way he described it was it's like a bunch of musicians. They get together and play violin or guitar, and they're all comparing and making new songs every day. And I thought that was a cool comparison. How true it is, I'm not 100% certain, but I like the analogy. So Sharks, I think, is doing something very special. They must be doing something pretty cool, because Matchroom jumped on board immediately and created ranking events there. They're actually playing the second one right now. We'll cover a little bit of that next episode. They already had one that Ko Pin Yi won, but Ko Pin Yi winning is no surprise. What is a surprise is that he played Michael Feliciano, I hope I'm saying that right, in the finals, who was just like a guy from the Philippines. This is what they're known for. He's just a guy, just a dude that plays there. And he ran through a field of 256 of the best players on the planet. How strong is the depth in the Philippines? I mean, look, it's legendary. It's literally legendary in the pool world, if you don't already know. The Filipino players, everyone that goes over there to play, which most of the best European and American players go over there to train, because it's the place. It's crazy. Oscar Dominguez has been very open about it. Oscar's saying there's 25 guys there. There's 25-ish, maybe more, guys in the Philippines that you've never heard of that are some of the best players on earth. And Sharks is about to finally show the world that. And they're doing it in this crazy format where they're stopping the games. They're stopping, not the match, they're stopping the games in the match so people can make new bets. So the players win a game, they go sit down, they wait 5 minutes while everyone goes crazy and bets, and they start the next game. So for the players, I mean, talk about a rhythm destroyer. But hey, if it's working, go ahead. I think it's an interesting idea. I can't wait to see what they do next. I really hope that nothing they're doing is illegal, or at least not terribly illegal, and they don't get shut down. I don't figure they would have started the whole thing if it was illegal there. There's nothing wrong with sports betting. I mean, we do it on football and soccer and baseball all the time. So I wish them well. It's very cool. I have a little bit on the juniors, but this episode's already running a little bit long, and I think the juniors with the Junior International Championships, the European Open Juniors, Max Benko finally taking one down, that was cool to see. I want to cover all that in another episode, because I think it might not be the most interesting to everybody, but I think there's so many awesome juniors coming up. It's an exciting time for pool. It's an exciting time for the juniors. Thank you guys for joining us. Joel, roll the credits, baby!